In the small Wild West town of Silver Creek, where the sun painted the sky in vibrant hues of orange and pink at dusk, lived two identical twin sisters, Lily and Rose. At 18 years old, they were inseparable, sharing everything from secrets to dreams. Their thick, wavy hair flowed like dark rivers down their backs, and their bright blue eyes sparkled with adventure. The sisters were known for their playful spirits and boundless curiosity. Lily was the more daring of the two, always eager to explore new places and try new things. She loved climbing trees and racing her horse through the open fields. "Come on, Rose. Let's see how far we can go today," she would often shout with a laugh, her enthusiasm infectious. Rose, on the other hand, balanced Lily's boldness with her thoughtful nature. She loved to plan their adventures carefully, considering every detail to ensure they remained safe. "Just a little farther," she'd reply, her voice calm yet filled with excitement. "But let's make sure we're back before dark." Their bond was unbreakable, and together they shared a love for their home nestled among the rugged mountains. As winter approached, the sisters felt a change in the air, a crispness that hinted at snow and cold nights by the fire. Though they cherished their adventures, they also understood the importance of preparing for what lay ahead. Little did they know that their preparations would soon be put to the ultimate test in a way they had never imagined. As the days grew shorter and the air turned crisp, the sisters could feel winter creeping closer. The lush greens of the forests began to fade, transforming into a palette of golden yellows and burnt oranges. The trees rustled with a gentle breeze, their leaves dancing down to the ground, creating a colorful carpet beneath their feet. Lily and Rose often walked together through the woods during this enchanting time, soaking in the beauty of nature. One afternoon, they noticed the first signs of frost glistening on the grass, making the world look like it was dusted with diamonds. "Look, Rose! Winter is almost here," Lily exclaimed, pointing at the shimmering ground. Rose smiled, admiring how the sunlight made everything sparkle. "Yes, we need to gather more firewood before it gets too cold," she replied, her practical mind already thinking about their preparations. The sisters noticed how the once warm stream nearby began to slow, its surface forming delicate ice patterns as the temperature dropped. Birds that had filled the skies with their songs started to migrate south, leaving an eerie silence that felt different from the cheeriness of summer. The mountains surrounding Silver Creek would soon be capped with snow, creating a breathtaking yet harsh landscape. They knew with winter's arrival would come challenges. The cold nights beckoned for warmth, and with each passing day, the reality of their preparations weighed heavily on them. But as they stood together in the glowing sunset, surrounded by nature's beauty, an unspoken understanding passed between them. This winter would test not only their resilience but also their deep bond as sisters. Determined to be ready for the bitter cold, Lily and Rose set out one crisp morning to gather firewood and food for the winter. They donned their warmest coats and tied their hair back, ready to tackle the task ahead. "Let's start by checking the old oak grove," Lily suggested, her excitement bubbling over. Rose nodded in agreement, already thinking of the best ways to gather supplies efficiently. As they reached the grove, the sisters worked in harmony. Lily climbed high into the branches, expertly breaking off suitable limbs while Rose collected them below, stacking the wood neatly into a pile. "I can reach higher. Just toss them down," Lily called out, her laughter echoing through the trees. With each branch they added to their collection, their spirits soared. After filling their arms with firewood, they decided to venture toward the nearby berry bush they had discovered last summer. The sisters had fond memories of picking sweet berries together. "We should gather enough for pies and preserves," Rose suggested, her eyes glimmering with ideas. "Yes. Let's make winter treats," Lily replied, her enthusiasm contagious. As they carefully picked the last of the berries, they shared stories of past winters spent around the fire, dreaming of delicious meals made from their hard work. With their baskets full, they trekked back home, their hearts light with satisfaction. The sun began to dip low on the horizon as they arrived at their cave, where they planned to stash all their hard-earned supplies. Together, they filled the cave with firewood and food, proud of their teamwork and resourcefulness. They knew that being prepared would help them face whatever challenges winter might bring. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over their filled cave. Lily and Rose settled down next to a small fire they had built outside. The crackling flames danced in the cool evening air, and they wrapped their shawls tighter around themselves. "I can't believe how much we've gathered," Lily said, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "We'll have plenty to keep us warm and fed this winter." Rose nodded but looked a bit pensive. "Yes, but I can't shake off this worry." "What if a blizzard hits while we're caught unprepared?" she replied, glancing at the darkening sky. "Come on, Rose." "We've done so much," Lily reassured her sister, poking the fire with a stick. "We have enough firewood and food to last us." "But what if it's worse than we expect?" Rose pressed. "Remember last winter? We didn't prepare as well, and we ran low on supplies too quickly." Her voice was soft but firm. Lily sighed, realizing her sister's concern was valid. "You're right. That was tough," she admitted. "But this time, we learned from that experience. We made sure to gather extra." "I just want us to be safe," Rose said quietly, her brow knitted in thought. "What if the snowdrifts are too high for us to get out?" Lily leaned closer to Rose, feeling the warmth of their bond. "No matter what happens, we'll face it together. We're not just sisters, we're a team. And teams help each other through tough times." The two girls exchanged a knowing smile, drawing strength from each other as they watched the stars begin to twinkle in the night sky above them. With bags packed and spirits high, Lily and Rose prepared for another day of gathering supplies. The sun peeked over the horizon, casting a golden glow on the landscape, and the sisters set off toward the nearby forest, excitement bubbling within them. "I can't wait to see how much firewood we can collect today," Lily exclaimed, her eyes gleaming with anticipation. As they entered the forest, the freshness of the air filled their lungs, and they felt alive among the towering trees. Birds chirped merrily in the branches above, creating a beautiful soundtrack to their adventure. "It's so peaceful here," Rose said, looking around at the vibrant colors of red and yellow leaves still clinging to the trees. Lily ran ahead, weaving in and out of the trees. "Catch me if you can," she shouted playfully, laughter echoing through the woods. Rose chased after her, giggling as they raced down a small slope, their boots crunching on fallen leaves. They came to a clearing where fallen branches lay scattered on the ground. "Look! This will be perfect!" Lily pointed at an impressive pile of wood. Together, they began loading up their arms with as much as they could carry. "You're stronger than you look," Rose teased as she struggled with a particularly hefty branch. With each piece of wood collected and every laugh shared, their bond grew deeper. After gathering a solid amount, they took a moment to catch their breath and admire the forest around them. "I love days like this," Rose said with a smile. "We make quite the team." "Always," Lily agreed, wrapping her arm around her sister's shoulder as they prepared to head back home with their treasure trove of firewood. The next day, Lily and Rose returned to the forest, more determined than ever to gather additional firewood. However, as they ventured deeper into the woods, dark clouds began to gather overhead. The wind picked up, rustling the branches ominously. "I don't like the look of that sky," Rose said, glancing nervously at her sister. "Don't worry. Let's just gather what we can before it gets worse," Lily encouraged, but just as they continued, a sudden gust of wind sent a flurry of leaves swirling around them. They pressed on, but soon after, heavy snowflakes began to fall, quickly covering the forest floor in a soft blanket of white. "This is beautiful but unexpected," Rose remarked, her breath visible in the chilly air. "I know. Let's hurry up," Lily replied, trying to remain upbeat despite the change in weather. They rushed to collect firewood, but the snow began to pile up around their feet, making every step more challenging. As they reached for a fallen branch, Lily stumbled, nearly losing her balance in the slippery snow. "Whoa! That was close," she laughed, brushing off the snow that had piled onto her shoulders. Rose helped steady her and then said with a grin, "Remember, no falling into the snowdrifts." They continued working diligently despite the difficulties. Occasionally, they had to clear branches weighed down by fresh snow or dig their way through small drifts that obscured their path. "This isn't what I expected today," Rose said as she brushed her hair back from her face. "But we're tougher than we think," Lily replied cheerfully. They both smiled, proud of how well they were tackling the challenges together. The snowfall only brought them closer as they focused on their mission while laughing through the effort. After a long day in the forest, Lily and Rose returned to their cave, tired but filled with a sense of accomplishment. They quickly began sorting through their supplies, eager to organize everything efficiently. "Let's not just pile it all in. We need a good system," Rose suggested as she glanced around the cave. Lily nodded, her mind already buzzing with ideas. "How about we stack the firewood on one side and keep the food on the other? That way, we can reach them easily when we need them," she proposed enthusiastically. Rose smiled at her sister's suggestion. "Great idea. I'll start stacking while you arrange the food," she replied, moving swiftly to gather the firewood they had collected earlier. As Lily carefully arranged jars of berries and bags of dried meats on the opposite side, she took note of what they had and what might be needed for later. "We have enough berries for pies and preserves, but we should think about making some stews too," she called over to Rose. "With those chilly nights ahead, that sounds perfect." Rose agreed as she organized the wood into neat piles. Her methodical approach ensured that they could easily add more if needed. As they worked side by side, their unique strengths complemented each other beautifully. Lily's creativity and energy blended perfectly with Rose's careful planning and focus. They shared laughs as they stumbled upon small treasures hidden in their stash, a forgotten acorn or an unexpected piece of dried fruit. By sunset, their cave was filled with neatly arranged supplies, providing a warm glow against the encroaching cold darkness outside. Exhausted but content, they admired their teamwork, a testament to their determination and bond as sisters preparing for whatever winter might bring. As night fell over Silver Creek, the atmosphere shifted. Dark clouds rolled in from the mountains, blotting out the stars and casting an eerie shadow over the landscape. Lily and Rose sat in their cozy cave, finishing a simple dinner when they noticed the change outside. "Look at those clouds. They look angry," Lily said, peering through the entrance. The wind began to howl softly, sending a chill down her spine. Rose's brow furrowed with concern. "It feels like a storm is coming. We should check our supplies one more time," she suggested, her voice steady but laced with worry. They quickly gathered their lantern and ventured outside to assess their preparations. The air grew colder as they stepped into the gathering darkness, and snowflakes began to swirl around them. "We need to make sure everything is secure," Rose said, her eye scanning the area for any loose items. Lily nodded, her heart racing as she tied down their firewood with rope to prevent it from blowing away. "Do you think it could turn into a blizzard?" she asked hesitantly. "It's possible," Rose replied while checking their food stash inside the cave. "But remember how much we collected? We'll be okay as long as we stay inside and keep warm." Just then, a gust of wind whipped through the trees, causing them both to shiver. They exchanged worried glances but took comfort in knowing they had prepared well for this moment. As they returned to their cave, huddled together for warmth, the first few flakes of snow began to fall heavily around them. "Let's light a fire and keep watch," Lily suggested, trying to sound brave despite her unease. They settled near the flickering flames, ready to face whatever storm lay ahead, together. As the blizzard raged outside, Lily and Rose huddled together in their cave, warmth from the fire enveloping them like a comforting blanket. The wind howled, but inside, they felt safe. "Let's make something special from our supplies," Lily suggested, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "Absolutely. How about a stew?" Rose replied, already reaching for a pot. "We have plenty of dried meat and those berries we picked. I can chop the meat and vegetables," Lily offered eagerly. As she busily worked, she glanced at her sister, who was collecting water from their nearby creek. "Remember last winter when we tried to make that pie? It turned out more like soup." Rose burst into laughter. "Oh yes. We thought adding extra sugar would fix it, but all it did was make it sticky." They both chuckled at the memory, which lightened the mood amidst the storm outside. As they prepared their meal together, they shared stories of other winters spent tucked away in their cozy home, building snowmen, sledding down hills, and gathering by the fire with their parents. Once the stew was bubbling over the fire, the aroma filled the cave with a rich scent that made their stomachs growl. "It smells amazing," Lily exclaimed, stirring it carefully. "I think it will taste even better because we made it together," Rose said softly. The sisters soon sat down to enjoy their meal, laughter echoing through the cave as they reminisced about their childhood adventures. In that moment of warmth and shared stories, they felt closer than ever, reminded of why they had prepared so diligently for winter's challenges. The blizzard struck with a ferocity that shook the very walls of their cave. Howling winds whipped through the trees outside, snapping branches and sending snow swirling into a frenzy. Lily and Rose huddled together close to the fire, their faces illuminated by the warm glow, but the sound of the storm was relentless, drowning out all other noise with its intensity. "Can you believe how fast it came?" Lily shouted over the roar of the wind, her heart racing as she watched the snow pile up against the entrance of their cave. Rose nodded, concern etched on her face. "I didn't expect it to hit so hard." "We may be stuck here for a few days," she replied, anxiously glancing at the growing wall of white outside. The sisters peered out into the storm, only seeing a blur of white as snow filled the air. "I hope we have enough supplies," Lily said, her voice quivering slightly. "We do. We've prepared well," Rose reassured her, trying to remain calm despite the chaos. "We can keep each other company and play games if we get bored." Hours turned into days as the blizzard raged on. The wind whistled like a mournful song, and heavy snow continued to fall, trapping them inside their cave. They passed the time by telling stories, playing games they had created together, and cooking meals from their carefully gathered supplies. With each passing day, they felt the weight of winter closing in around them, but they drew strength from one another, two sisters united against the storm. Through the challenges they faced inside their cozy home, they found comfort in their bond, knowing that as long as they had each other, they could weather any storm. As the blizzard raged on, Lily and Rose settled into a routine that made the best use of their resources. Each day, they chipped away at their stockpiled supplies, making sure not to waste anything. With the wind howling outside, they took turns tending to the fire, ensuring it stayed strong and warm against the bitter cold. "Let me check the firewood supply," Rose said one morning as she stood up to take a look. She carefully opened the supply area, surveying what they had left. "We still have a good amount, but we need to be careful." Lily nodded in agreement. "We should use the smaller pieces first for kindling and save the bigger logs for later when it's really cold," she suggested, a hint of determination in her voice. They worked side by side, organizing their wood piles to maximize efficiency. For meals, they continued to craft hearty stews from their earlier harvests, mixing dried meat and preserved vegetables with herbs they had gathered. "This stew is getting better every day," Lily exclaimed as she stirred the bubbling pot. "Just think of all those flavors mixing together," Rose added, her eyes bright with enthusiasm. They savored each bite, grateful for the meals that kept their strength up during the long days trapped inside. As time passed, the snowfall outside grew deeper, sometimes obscuring their view entirely. Yet within the cozy warmth of their cave, they felt secure in knowing they had prepared well. Their careful planning and resourcefulness allowed them to withstand the storm, filling them with optimism for brighter days ahead. Together, they navigated the challenges of winter's embrace, confident in their survival and their bond. As the winds howled outside and the snow continued to pile against the entrance of their cave, Lily and Rose felt a sense of loneliness settle in alongside them. However, they quickly found ways to lift each other's spirits. One evening, as they sat close to the fire, Lily suggested, "How about we tell some stories? It might help pass the time." "Good idea," Rose agreed, her face brightening. "Let's share our favorite memories from past winters." Lily leaned back, a smile forming on her lips. "Remember that winter when we built the biggest snowman ever? We used all those old scarves and hats from Mom's closet." Rose laughed, her eyes sparkling with delight. "And he fell over. You must have pushed him too hard when you were trying to give him a new nose." The sisters spent hours sharing tales of their childhood adventures, sledding down hills, building snow forts, and drinking warm cocoa by the fire with their parents. Each story wove a thread that strengthened their bond, reminding them of all the joyful moments they had shared. They also played games to keep their minds engaged. From charades using made-up words to a storytelling game where each would add a line until the plot twisted into silliness, their laughter echoed in the cave. "Okay, my turn. Once upon a time, there was a squirrel named Nutty," Lily began dramatically. As they immersed themselves in these playful moments, the weight of loneliness lightened. In facing uncertainty together, Lily and Rose discovered that their connection grew deeper, transforming their isolation into a space filled with warmth and love, a true refuge against the storm. After what felt like an eternity, the howling winds began to subside, their noise replaced by a soft hush that swept over the land. Lily and Rose exchanged glances, their hearts lifting in anticipation. "Do you think it's finally over?" Rose asked, moving closer to the entrance of their cave. "Only one way to find out," Lily replied, her eyes shining with excitement. They bundled up in their warmest coats, eager to see the transformed world outside. As they carefully pushed open the cave door, they were greeted by a breathtaking sight. The landscape was blanketed in pristine white snow, creating a glittering expanse that glimmered under the winter sun. Trees were draped with snow like delicate frosting, and every branch sparkled. "It's beautiful," Rose breathed, stepping out into the shimmering world. Lily laughed with joy as she twirled in the snow. "We made it through, and look at how magical it is out here," she exclaimed, her spirit buoyed by the beauty surrounding them. Looking around at their pristine surroundings, they felt a rush of gratitude for their careful preparations. The supplies they had gathered and the warm haven they created had kept them safe during the storm. "I'm so glad we worked together to plan for this," Rose said, her voice filled with appreciation. "Me too. I wouldn't want to face anything like that without you," Lily replied sincerely. As they began to explore their snowy paradise, laughter echoed in the crisp air. It was a new chapter, filled with potential and adventure, and together they felt ready to embrace whatever came next, stronger than ever, bound by their shared experiences and love as sisters. As Lily and Rose marveled at the beauty of the snow-covered world around them, they reflected on the journey they had just endured. The blizzard had tested their strength and resilience, yet it had also brought them even closer together as sisters. "You know," Lily began, her breath visible in the frosty air, "I think we've really learned just how strong we are." Rose smiled warmly, her cheeks pink from the cold. "Absolutely. We faced so many challenges, but we always found a way to support each other. I couldn't have done it without you." They began to stroll through the sparkling snow, leaving footprints behind them. The landscape felt transformed, much like their relationship had evolved during the storm. The laughter and shared stories had created a deeper bond that would last well beyond that winter. "I love how we made the best of our time together," Lily said thoughtfully. "Those games and stories kept our spirits high." "Right. It's amazing how family can help us get through tough times," Rose replied, glancing back at their cave. "I'll always remember this winter as a testament to our teamwork and love." As they continued to explore the winter wonderland, they picked up sticks for more firewood, feeling grateful for the preparations that had kept them safe in their cozy cave. Each flake of snow that danced down from the sky reminded them of their resilience. In that moment, surrounded by nature's beauty and filled with warmth from within, they knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead in life's wild adventures, they would always face them together, stronger as sisters, united by love and shared experiences.